Look at these two rooms and tell me which one feels more like home to you. If you pick the left one, you're probably a woman. And if you pick the right, then you're probably one of the few men who are watching this channel, or you're being forced to by your wife and girlfriend. Men and women have wildly different design instincts, and in this video I'm going to go through the reasons why, and most importantly, how we can use this knowledge to blend styles together and create a home that you both love without turning it into a Pinterest explosion or a tech bro cave. This video is sponsored by Incogni, and we're going to talk about them later. So, you're picking a color for your room, and the arguments begin. Men might point to these dark, moody colors like grey, blue, black, and say, timeless, clean, classic, I love it. And women might point to colors like these pastels and soft creams and reds and be like, so pretty, so cozy, I want this. This difference in opinion isn't random. There are theories that suggest that men as hunters may have developed sharp vision for bold, high-contrast colors, which is perfect for spotting movement or danger in the distance. And this visual advantage in an environment where you're either being hunted or hunting can mean life and death. Women whose role used to be more gatherers than hunters likely developed an eye for subtle color variations to spot ripe fruits, edible plants, or environmental changes. This close-range skills might explain a modern preference for softer, more complex tones. So to come to a good compromise between everyone, maybe instead of asking, what do you like? You can get together and discuss how you want the space to feel. And pick a color that would match the feeling you would want in that room. For calm and serenity, opt for softer muted tones like sage green or grey. And if you want the room to feel more open and airy, of course, lighter colors would be optimum. And if coziness is a go, warmer colors with hints of yellow, red, green might work better. And if you want your space to feel like more intimate and smaller, darker colors can make the room feel a little bit more compact. Look at this image. The woman in the audience might say, wow, this is so pretty and cozy and stylishly decorated. And it wouldn't surprise me if men looked at this and said, ooh, what a mess. What looks like decor to one person seems like clutter to another. Men in general prefers a more simple, minimalist style of decorating because men evolved to notice movement more. So for men, when you have too many items in a room, it feels like visual noise. Women, on the other hand, likes to layer textures, colors, and pretty decor together, as these details make a space feel warm and inviting. So if you've ever argued over the optimum number of pillows on your bed, now you have a better understanding of why that might be. So if you want to keep both parties happy, optimize your home layout for flow and circulation. Add thoughtful layers like cushions and rugs for additional warmth and coziness, but don't overdo it with the objects so it actually gets in the way of functionality. And I know it's like super fashionable to have loads of decor on your table with these oversized flowers, tree branches, rocks, water fountains, crazy stuff. But if it prevents you from actually enjoying your food and seeing the other person, it's not really worth it. And you can also be more intentional with your decor pieces. So instead of having a lot of little objects around, swap it out for one big object instead that takes up maybe the same amount of space, but just feels a lot more visually clean. So we've been talking about all the things that couples disagree on, but one thing you should definitely agree on is keeping your sensitive and private information off the internet. And the sponsor of this video, Incogni, is an online service that does just that. Imagine that this mug is your name. This one is your home address. This one is your phone number, not my real number. This one is your email address, your relatives' information, your health, your shopping habits, your preferences, etc. Hundreds of data brokers collect this stuff and just sell it without your permission. I choose to put my thoughts, ideas, and designs out there, but not all of this stuff, and neither did you. Incogni contacts these data brokers on your behalf and gets these mugs back for you. And because these sites love putting the information back, Incogni automatically, repeatedly sends out these requests to them. And now their service just got even better with their custom removals feature. So if you find your information on some website you've never heard of, just copy the link,
Drop it into your incogni dashboard, hit submit, and their privacy team will handle the rest. Whether it's people search sites, recruitment databases, or financial records, give incogni a try. And you can use my code BaiXu or go to incogni.com/BaiXu in the description to get 60% off an annual plan. They can't harm you if they can't find you.
When putting together inspirational images for your home or shopping for furniture together, you might start to notice that men are more drawn towards modern, industrial, or minimalist style of interiors, while women are drawn towards cozy, eclectic, or more romantic styles. For a lot of guys, functionality is the focus. If something works well and doesn't require a ton of upkeep, they're happy. That's why you'll see men gravitating towards materials like concrete, metal, or dark woods. These feel sturdy, minimal, and low maintenance. On the other hand, women often prioritize how a space feels emotionally. They love materials that make a space feel cozy, warm, and inviting. So if you're decorating and you can't quite find materials that reflect both your needs, here are some ideas that you can try. Blend soft and strong materials together. If you have a lot of very functional, masculine-shaped furniture, is it possible to incorporate some more comforting, feminine vibe colors in it? And you can also look for furniture that are more like a hybrid mixture of these materials. A fabric and leather chair, or a wood and metal table. If it's obviously a guy's apartment with brick walls, industrial furniture, and black metal everywhere, where can you add rugs and cushions and throws and curtains to just soften the space up a bit? Maybe you can add some paintings that bring a little bit of nurturing energy in. And if you find a space is leaning more towards the soft, enveloping embrace of a woman's hug, maybe you can incorporate decor pieces that have a little bit more this raw, simple energy, like concrete plant pots, books that reflect your hobby, maybe some arty black and white photographs because that's pretty high contrast and like simple and masculine looking. If one person really likes fun, colorful patterns and the other person likes nothing, compromise and choose finishes and materials and fabrics with very classic looking patterns. Ones that create some sort of visual interest, but it's kind of timeless and you'll not kind of get bored of looking at it because it's just been around in all sorts of styles forever. Have you ever noticed that men and women like to really sit differently? Men actually prefer more open spaces than women because of the way they like to spread their body out when they're seated. Women, on the other hand, often gravitate more like cozy, enclosed spaces. Think of her instead of being outstretched on like a massive sofa, but more curled up in an armchair with a blanket wrapped around. This preference could be linked to the need to create a sense of safety and comfort in their space, which aligns with caregiving and community roles that women used to have. And so if you've ever argued about what type of seats to buy and where to place them in your house, this might be the reason. You see this dynamic play out in a lot of different scenarios. So for example, in living rooms, men might prefer big uncluttered sectionals to stretch out on, and women would likely want to add pillows, throws, rugs, everything to make it feel a little bit more enclosed, and they'll want to have like lots of armchairs and just lots of stuff around that somehow breaks up this expansiveness. Of course, these are massive generalizations, but I do think that you see this occurring in real life significantly enough that it's worth discussing. So to find a space that works for both of you, you can blend open and cozy seating, so pair a large minimalist couch with a soft armchair or a window seat, and add soft touches thoughtfully, so include cushions, blankets, but keep the arrangements tidy and intentional to avoid clutter. Here's a really interesting fact about communication styles between men and women. Men actually prefer to sit side by side to have a conversation with each other. If you think about how people used to live in tribes and when they had to hunt for their food, it makes a lot of sense. Imagine two hunters are working together to track prey, staring at the horizon rather than at each other. Their focus was on the goal and not the conversation. Women, on the other hand, prefer face-to-face interactions. because eye contact creates a really, really deep, intense connection. So to make it work in your home, where you have a lot of these different needs, I think it's really nice to have actually a mixture of seating options available. So not just have one long sofa where you are all facing one direction, but to mix it up with maybe an L-shaped section or some armchairs that you can move to face each other if you want to have an intense, deep, meaningful conversation, or side by side, away from each other towards a common view. And if you can blend these seating styles and create spaces where it's a little bit flexible and people can really cater the seating arrangements to their preference, you'll be creating a space where everyone can feel comfortable being themselves and to have conversations in the way that they feel most comfortable. I think when feminine and masculine elements feel a bit out of balance in the home, it can make the individual feel a bit uncomfortable, uneasy, or maybe even excluded from their home. So let's try to imagine two extremes. One space has a lot of soft curves, warm colors, plush textures, which is super cozy and feminine. And another one has a lot of sharp angles, dark tones, solid materials. It's sleek, powerful, and very, very commanding. Feminine interiors focus on warmth and softness, and masculine highlights the boldness and contrast in the space. So if a mixed-sex household is to feel comfortable while sharing this space, you have to balance it out. Start with a neutral color as a base. Avoid extreme colors like all black or all pink schemes. Mix materials in your furniture. If your sofa is bold and masculine like black or brown leather, opt for a soft armchair in a lighter fabric or with rounded edges to balance the look. A feminine detailed bed frame works beautifully with simpler masculine bedside tables. If your interior leans industrial, you can add warmth with colorful or organic artwork to soften the harshness. If your bathroom has brassy fittings and marble tiles with gold accents, you can bring in more masculine tones like blue or grey walls to ground the space. So here is a very concise summary of everything we've covered in this video. If you want to learn more about how to create a home that truly works for you, be sure to check out the videos that are popping up on the screen right now, and subscribe so you can stay updated on all the other educational design content I will produce in the future.
Use my code BaiXu or go to incogni.com/BaiXu in the description to get 60% off an annual plan.